Morning, everyone. Good morning, my Facebook friends and family. I'm so glad you all have tuned in to join in with me in introducing my special guest, Miss Kiauna Thomas.
Thompson.
Yes, Kiauna Thompson. You know, we get those two names mixed up, Thompson and Thomas. And today, we're just so thankful to be here at Take a Pew Holistic Health Lounge to allow her, this young woman, to talk about her journey with kidney disease. But before we go any further, I just want to just pause and just thank the Lord for a wonderful week that we have had from Wednesday up until now. I don't know about anyone else. I was sharing with some family and friends that there truly has been a shift in the atmosphere, and that this country now will be on a wave like never before of upliftment, excitement. Young girls will be empowered to do and to conquer and to accomplish whatever they would love to do in life. And so I'm just so thankful for that. I'm still on an emotional high, a spiritual high, and thanking God for just the change in guards at our state level, at our national level, at the White House. And so today, as a business owner, I will be celebrating 1 year of business with Take a Pew Holistic Health Lounge. Last year, January 25th, I opened this health store with the hopes of helping all people, all walks of life, with health and nutrition, and coming from a background of hairdressers and salon owners. I was the owner of Vale's Beauty Shop some 20 years ago, and because of my health, I'm a bilateral breast cancer survivor, and when I was diagnosed the second time, I was asked by my dad to close the business and try to heal my body. And so at a young 32-year-old, I did that, and some 20 years later, the Lord just spoke to me about starting a bed and breakfast, a tea room, all of those things I wanted to do. But last January, or I should say in 2019, I just spoke to the Lord and asked him. I told him that I wanted to go back into entrepreneurship, and the health profession was a passion of mine. And so fast forward to now, I ended up opening Take a Pew Holistic Health Lounge, where I sell a number of holistic items, a variety of things for health and wellness. And so on today, as I celebrate my 1 year anniversary, I have here today my special guest, Miss Kiauna Thompson. And Miss Kiauna Thompson is here today. I'm going to let her come in her own way and tell her story about her journey. Why not me? A story of strength, endurance, and faith. And so I'm going to open the floor and let her tell us about herself. About her health. She is a Memphis native, born and raised. She attended school here. And let me tell you something that I found to be extraordinary about this young woman. She has accomplished a lot in her life. How old are you?
31.
She's 31 years old. When I was 31, I was going through breast cancer for the second time. She's 31. She's finished undergrad, and she has written this book. And I'm just going to let her tell her story about her journey with kidney disease. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. I want to first start off by thanking God for this opportunity and thanking Ms. Lewis for this opportunity for the way we met you. That nothing happens by chance. And I just want to thank God for this opportunity. Yes, I'm 31 years old, but I have been through a lot. I was born bilateral hypoplasia, which means my kidneys wasn't developed when I was born. And so 2 weeks, my parents found that out when I was 2 weeks old. And through that, since then, they have fought with me. They taught me how to fight. They never gave up on me. And because of that, I believe I'm stronger. I'm stronger because they did that. So I've had 2 kidney transplants. I've had my heart valve replaced. I've had numerous of surgeries. And I talk about all of that in my book. And also, not just the health part. I also talk about the flesh and the spirit, because all of it intertwines in one. So God has just been so good to me and my family, and I'm just thankful this morning for it all. I asked Him last year to, let me be a light in someone else's life. I want to be a vessel for Him to show that His grace and mercy will endure if you just go on through the end, if you trust Him. And my dad has a ministry that is he based it off of our family, and it's called Through It All. And so we walk with that phrase and that purpose. Through it all, God is with us.
Through it all?
Yes, ma'am.
Through it all.
He's with us through it all. And my dad lives by that. We've learned to live by that. Through it all. I know the other night me and him kind of got into a little disagreement because I started a new job Tuesday. And my mom, she's always still worried about me. But my dad, he's like, she okay. And I had to go pick up some equipment, and my mom trying to be a mom, prep me and get me ready, and my dad like, she okay, And it kind of, the flesh got to me, and it kind of, I'm like, he don't care about what I'm going through, and he don't care if that stuff might be heavy. But he had to break it down to me. He's speaking life into me, like he spoke life into me since I was born. Since they told them at 2 weeks old that, because they basically just gave me up.
Right, I remember reading that in the book.
They basically just gave me up. And my parents was like, no, you can't. How you going to tell me what God can do? And 31 years later, here I am.
31 years later.
Here I am.
Here you are. And when I took my first bout, when I ended chemo, my very first year, or my very first bout with chemo, when it ended, I was 30. And so you're sitting here now telling me you're 31, correct? And you were talking about how people, when they know you got a dis-ease in your body, they try to huddle and cuddle and baby you, and you just got this new job and you're excited about this new job, but they're still protective and still wanting to make sure that you're I guess not letting you go out there and do your thing and create your independence. And so how do you feel about that now? Do you feel that they're releasing you so that you can be who you are?
I do.
You do?
I do. I feel like they are released in their own way.
In their own way.
In their own way, they're releasing me out. But I think because they saw that I have found and created my own relationship with God, they feel more comfortable with releasing me into the world. Because, they say, as a child, that responsibility is your parents. But when you're an adult, their responsibility is your own. And I still thought as a child, even a couple of years ago,
Right.
I was always still doing what they wanted me to do.
Mm-hmm.
But when I got that relationship with God and my parents saw that it was true, I believe that's when they felt, okay, I can let her go. I can let her be her own. Because she got it. Her and God got it.
You got it. So I read in the book that you have two, or you have one person outside of your parents that was super supportive of you, and that's your brother. And one of your brothers is deceased as well. I read that. And how your brother is still supportive of you.
Oh, very much so. We all laugh and joke and say that all three of them spoil me. You know, I'm like all three of their babies. My brother, whatever I need, he's there for me. He's encouraging me all the time. And I look up to him because, you know, it's like he got to do and experience more than I did. But because of that, he don't, you know, rub it in my face or anything. He just sit and talk to me about experiences and about things that, you know, he went through and he don't want me to go through, you know. And I can say sometimes I'm envious of how how differently we grew up, but because of how loving our parents are, I mean, he's just been so loving to me, all in one.
Is this Gabrielle's dad?
Her brother's dad.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right, okay. I hear you because, you know, I'm an only child. And my parents now are deceased. So my mother she passed before I was diagnosed with breast cancer at 29. And I just lost my daddy a few years ago. So it's just me and him. So he was protective. My first cousins and my extended family were my support system. My church was my support system. So, you know, when you don't have that bloodline, like you don't have those siblings, you know, what do you do besides trust God and lean on the extended family? Yeah, so that's people don't really understand how important that is when you're going through a dis-ease or treatment, and when you have to go to the doctors every so often. And I know you go to dialysis three times a week. Okay. And so tell us about your type of kidney disease again. Expound on that a little bit more.
It's called bilateral hyperplasia. And like I said, my kidneys just didn't develop when I was at birth in my mom's womb. They didn't develop. So like I said, I've had 2 kidney transplants. And they tell you that kidney transplant is still not a cure. It's just a treatment. So because you know your kidneys, your body will reject them. And I had my first kidney. I got it when I was 3. They had to wait until my body kind of matured and developed more. And in that time, I got something called renal rickets, where my bones were really brittle. And so afterwards, because kidney disease, it affects everything in your body, your bones, your heart, eventually. I mean, everything, because your kidneys essentially get rid of waste in your body, and I didn't have that from birth. So, yeah, I had my first kidney transplant when I was 3, and then when I was 6, I had my uncle, my dad's brother, gave me his kidney. So that one lasted till I was 16. After 16, when I got on dialysis, I first started on something called PD. That's peritoneal dialysis. They do that with a tube in your stomach, and it filters out fluid overnight. And then, you know, for me when I was younger, that was a better choice. I felt because I had the freedom to get up and go to school in the morning. I can get on at night, go to sleep, couldn't feel anything. The one that I'm on now is called Hemo. It's in center, and I have a graft in my arm, and they go in there every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and they actually cleaned out my blood. Blood is going through the machine and then filtering out all the waste and toxins and then going back in my body. And this one I think is more extreme, more extinct. And I find myself being more tired with this one because, I mean, it's actually sitting there for 3 hours pulling out your blood, draining you of your blood essentially, and then putting it back in your body. And then like I said, from kidney disease, you get secondary heart disease. So I've been dealing with that since I was 6. I had a heart murmur, and then when I was 21, my veins calcified in my heart, which led to me going into heart failure, and I had to fly to Rochester, Minnesota, and get my heart valve replaced. I have a mechanical heart valve, and they can do 2 kinds. They can do a pig, and they can do a mechanical. The pig, they said a couple of years, or you will have to get that fixed again. But mechanical heart valve, I've been 11 years now with that.
Praise the Lord.
11 years, and it's been doing great. It's been doing really great. So I thank God for that. I still battle with heart disease though today. Back in May, I was diagnosed with something called AFib, and that is where your heart races, and it's kind of like you're running, and you can't catch your breath, and it's irregular heartbeat. But they got that fixed, and it's been a battle.
I can imagine.
It's been a battle.
Just sitting here talking to you, all of my illnesses are secondary because of breast cancer. And I didn't think about the kidney disease affecting anything dealing with the heart, and I dealt with cardiomyopathy right after I had my second bout with chemotherapy. So I do understand that heart hitting up against the wall of the chest. You can't catch your breath. You can't walk a flight. You can't walk a block. And then people look at you and think she's young. You're young. You should be able to handle it. But people don't have really, if you never had dis-ease in the body, you don't know what that walk is like.
You don't.
So just listening to you talk about your mechanical valve, and what do you say you have again?
It's a fistula.
Fistula, and I got a portacat. So same thing, you know what I'm saying? So we kind of mirror each other in a sense, but you're dealing with a kidney situation, and I was dealing with disease in the body from breast cancer. So now, you're 31 now, I'm 51. Who would have ever thought? When I was 31, all I wanted to do was go somewhere and get something good to eat, because I had just finished chemotherapy and get my life back to normal. But with anything that you're dealing with, this is our life. This is your journey is your life.
Yes, ma'am.
And so everybody got to adjust to the way in which you live and the way in which I live, because we can't pass judgment or think, she gonna be good, she's gonna be fine, she can do this, she can do that. But if you're tired, you're what?
You're tired.
You're tired. If you just can't get from point A to point B, or if you just need to rest, you just need to rest.
You just need to rest.
And the body will make you what? Sit down.
Make you realize that you need to, and then that's the thing, because people don't realize that. Like you said, they say she young, she just she just lazy.
She just lazy.
I'd be drained after dialysis. I never would have thought, when I saw my own mom go through it all those years. I think about, man, I thought I was taking advantage of the situation. And I saw my mom go to dialysis, go to work, come home, feed the kids, get us ready for school the next day. She did this for years, and then both of us were doing dialysis together. So I was like, man, it really tires you
It
out.
tires you out in the body. And I tell people, once you've had surgery, the more you have surgery, the body is never the same. So you learn something new about yourself. Every time you go through a new procedure, you learn something new. And so you have to go inward and listen to yourself. And you don't have children, I don't have children. So I was well able to have children, but to preserve my life and to stay healthy. For breast cancer being the breast being a part of the reproductive system, I ended up having to make a sound decision to have a hysterectomy at a young age, so that I wouldn't develop ovarian cancer. And so, not having the children, I'm not upset about it. I don't feel less of a woman because I'm not a mother. But the blessing in this is when I get off work or when I'm done doing what I need to do, I can go home and just rest my body.
Exactly.
And people really don't understand that, because if, like you said, your mother, having gone through kidney failure as well, she had to be a mother. She had to come home. She had to cook, clean, do whatever the chores are as a wife and as a mother, and then as a person that works. So it has its pros and cons when you look at it. For me, let's talk about nutrition. When I was a freshman, my sophomore year at Lemoyne College, I started eating healthy with some friends of mine. They were of Muslim faith, and we would go to this little restaurant on Poplar called Squash Blossom. And I would go in there with them, and I learned how to eat. I was introduced to new ways of eating raw foods, organic foods, spices, also different herbs. And I learned how to make protein shakes. All this stuff was not popular back in the late 80s, early 90s among African Americans. And so I kind of adopted their lifestyle and started eating healthy. But I still would slip over to the soul food every now and again, but I wasn't sick at the time. So I was diagnosed at 29, and you've had blood transfusion.
I have.
When I had chemotherapy, they told me, Ms. Lewis, you need to start eating a little bit more red meat so that your blood counts could come up. Because if not, you're going to have a transfusion. Well, I started back eating red meat so that I wouldn't have to have the transfusion. But as soon as I finished chemotherapy, I slowed back down and just started eating healthy. But my regimen at the time when I was going through chemo, because chemotherapy, I don't know about when you are on dialysis, if your appetite is not there or you can't taste. But all I could eat was turnip greens and canned peaches, turnip greens, or applesauce, or the two. And my daddy would fix that for me. And it's frustrating when you can't taste your food and trying to stay healthy as well. So, long story short, staying into that holistic approach with food, changing my diet as the year progressed, and now I'm here where I am. So tell me, what is your diet like as a kidney patient? Because I told you I asked someone to bring me a couple bottles of water, and I thought about it. I said, she can't have water. She can't drink water. So tell me what it is that hearty meal, or that meal that makes you that you enjoy eating.
Well, I'm laughing because I got to work on it. I really do. I got to work on my nutrition and what I do eat, because when I was younger, I wasn't eating much, so they told my parents, just let her eat what she want. And you know, in turn, they gave me all the things they thought that I would like so I could grow. And it kind of turned over into adulthood and eating kind of on the bad side. There's something called phosphorus in every food, and the dialysis patient has to watch that phosphorus because it builds up calcium in your body, which, you know, makes the heart disease bad or worse, and it bones too. So I have to stay away from a lot of cheeses, a lot of dairy, stuff everybody loves, and and I love roast, and you know, there's all types of good soul food.
Carrots and potatoes. What is?
I don't know about the carrots, but I can do the potatoes. You know, that's why I say I have to work on that. Dr. Peppers I used to love, but I have since put those down because dark drinks have a lot of phosphorus in them. I had to put that down. That's why I was glad to get to know you too, because I'm like, oh, she has a holistic health story. I mean, I can learn some things from her, what I need to, you know, I can reverse some of this stuff, especially I'm 31 years old and I have high cholesterol. I have high blood pressure. I can reverse some of this stuff, you know, if I just eat right. I have to stay disciplined.
You got to stay disciplined.
Yes, ma'am.
You got a long way to go.
Yeah.
Your life is full, so you can do it. You can do it. You know, you said Dr. Pepper. I got so tickled because I like Mountain Dew. So yes, being the owner of a holistic store, I will. Let me look at the camera. I will every now and again drink a Mountain Dew. I'll take a Mountain Dew every now and again. Join me on the pew for part B with my special guest, Kiauna Thompson.